Welcome to Mithral Brews. I'm Chris, and I help dungeon masters bring their games into the digital realm. Focused on FoundryVTT and the D&D 5e system, my goal is to remove the friction of imported content. Whether it's official sources, from third parties, or your own imagination, if you're ready to brew something mythic, modular, and uniquely yours, let's get brewing. In my last video, I showed you how to create a species from scratch in FoundryVTT. Bringing it from D&D Beyond and into Foundry, we were able to build the tabaxi. Today, we're going to continue on the origins, and we're going to do the character backgrounds. Parts of a background are pretty simple, and there's not a whole lot of extra that you have to do to get it to work. You're really just going to select 3 options for ability scores that the player can choose from. A origin feat. You're going to select 2 proficiencies, a tool proficiency, and equipment, which is usually in a package of equipment, or it could just be 50 gold pieces. Let's take a look at D&D Beyond, and let's look at the smuggler background. We're going to make this today in FoundryVTT without importing anything. We're just going to make it from scratch. You'll see it already has 2 skill proficiencies you can choose from, a tool proficiency, and some equipment. Really, the only thing we need to do is choose the ability scores and feats that might go along with the smuggler background. Switching back to Foundry, we're going to start with working in our custom background that we made so that we can share this content amongst worlds. I am in my world in which I create things, but I'll share with all the worlds in which my characters or my players play in. The way to make this is going to be a link in the description. There's a great video by another content creator that I think does a much better job at showing this than I do. I'm going to go to player options like we did last time, and we're going to look at backgrounds. We already made a folder for backgrounds, and now we're going to create an item. This item is going to be called a background, obviously. There we go. Now we're going to type in the name of the background, which we said smuggler. And if we want to be fancy, we can put the source in. Now, I have not added this source to my module. Something, again, will be part of a future video, but I could put a custom label here. Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I'm not sure if that's the shortened name, but there we go. That's good enough for me. And then we're going to grab the description right off of D&D Beyond. We don't need much more than that. But like with the species, we want to make it look like it was already, like it's the content that's built in to Foundry already. So we're going to look at the Alkalite background, and we're going to import this so that we can edit this by opening it up and then just cutting and pasting. We don't need that last sentence or that last embed link. That's really just coming from another journal. We're not going to go that far. We're just going to take this top part so that all we have to do is add that in. We're going to remove some of this text and put our own text there later. And we're going to remove that, remove the feet, and remove the ability scores. We'll put all this after we've added it into the system. All right. Details. We're going to change the name to Smuggler. Starting wealth for right now, we're just going to say 50 gold. We'll come back to that. And then we're going to go to advancements. And we're going to see the different advancements. It's already pretty much set up for you. All you have to do is make the edits. So ability score advancement. The Smuggler ability scores I would choose from is something that you're going to make, because if I'm moving this from D&D Beyond, Ghosts of Saltmarsh was under the 2014 rules. We're going to make it into the 2024 rules, and so we're going to choose 3 that we want to give the character the option to choose from. And we're going to lock the ones we don't want them to choose from. So Smuggler, obviously, Charisma is going to be pretty important. I don't think strength and dexterity are so much for a smuggler. Or strength and constitution. Dexterity is going to be a little bit more important. I think smugglers need to be sneaky, moving around. They're likely using lockpicks. So it kind of comes down to wisdom and intelligence. Which one am I going to close off? I think wisdom and being wise and knowing where and when to do things is a little more important than the intelligence. So we're going to lock the intelligence. So what we're saying is the smuggler background comes with an option to choose dexterity, wisdom, and charisma. And by locking these other ones, it is not an option that players can choose from. We will close that. Let's go back to Alkalite, make sure we have that open so we can follow along. So we're going to choose languages as the next thing. So with backgrounds, the way it is in 2024 and the way Foundry has set it up, languages is just the same no matter which character, which background you choose. You get to choose or you get to choose 2 languages in addition to common from the standard languages table. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go to this. We're going to edit advancement off of Alkalite, and we're just going to copy and paste this hint, and we're going to bring it over to our own advancement under choose languages. All right, we're going to paste that there, and then we're going to say you get a choice of any 2 languages from any standard languages. So it's just going to allow the standard languages, and you can choose any 2. All right, and there you go. You have your languages set up. Now we're going to choose background proficiencies. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut and paste from this if we want to make it look nice. Select all, copy and paste. We can close this, and then we're just going to make some changes here. Before we edit that, let's decide what we're going to give as options for background proficiencies. So first of all, you get to choose 2 skills. If we want to verify that, skill proficiencies, a background gives you your character proficiency in 2 specified skills. And if we go back to the D&D Beyond and we look, they already have selected athletics and deception from the 2014 rules. So let's just keep it the same. So we're going to go athletics and deception. And then we're going to add another option. And we're going to go to tool proficiencies. And we're going to add 1 tool proficiency. So it says it gets vehicles, water, but you can go all the way down here and water vehicle. So as you see here, athletics, deception, and a water vehicle are all going to be granted. So let's just change this. So athletics, deception, and in water vehicle. All right, that's it. We close that. Already added, gives a little hint, makes it really nice and pretty. And now we're going to go with background feat. All we have to do here is just hit edit advancement, and we drop the feat that we want to add. We're going to open up the player's handbook to select this. We're going to go to character origins. No, we're not going to go to character. We're going to go to character feats. Look at origin feats, and here's your options for origin feats. And what makes the most sense for a smuggler? Again, this is me making this decision. You might choose something different. I think smugglers, you got to be pretty lucky. I think the lucky feat makes the most sense here. My other option I was thinking is tavern brawlers, because smugglers are not always going to be in the most opportune position to pull a sword or a weapon. Smugglers might have to go into a situation where their weapons are not on them. So actually, I think that's what's gonna really sell me, that a tavern brawler and a smuggler kind of go hand in hand. There we go. That's set. Details, description. So now we just need to type some of this in. So we know we gave dexterity. Wisdom And charisma. We know we gave the feat tavern brawler, so let's actually drag that. Let's actually drag that in to make it easier. So it's embedded, and we chose skills to be athletics and deception. We also chose the tool proficiency to be water vehicle and equipment. Let's go back to D&D Beyond. So you'll see a fancy leather vest or a pair of boots, a set of common clothes, and a leather pouch for 15 gold. So let's just cut and paste this over. Common clothes is a 2014 item. Traveler's clothes is now what 2024 has. Not that you couldn't make 2014 or use 2014 common clothes. Let's see if that picks it up. There we go. Leather pouch. So the best thing to do for there is we can go to the companion browser, go to items. $15 gold. Leather vest and a pair of leather boots. So this is just, again, considered part of the traveler's clothes. Aside of that, that's pretty good. We're going to hit save. We close it here. You'll see that now everything looks very much like the Acolyte background. Acolyte has a lot more items. You could expand that if you want. Probably the easiest thing is just to leave it with the 50 gold too and just let the player choose. We will put this all here. All right. We hit save. And then under details, where we go to starting equipment, the easiest way to put things into starting equipment is to click this little cogwheel. We're going to add an entry. And again, if you want to follow along with the options and the way it was built, open up, install that background, go to details. We're going to unlock it, and then if you just hit this little cog here, it'll show you exactly how it was set up. So we know the first option we want to do all of, and then we want to add an entry. So we're going to go one of, choose our specific item, and then we should do it that way. So I forgot about that. And then if we add another entry and we do specific item, and then do pouch, and there's your pouch. That's it. That's all it comes with. There's a description. We can change the icon. Let's say we want to go to icons, skills, trades. Then let's take a look at what options we have here. Not a whole lot. Well, maybe we'll do this here. Yeah, that's farming. Not really the most smuggling looking thing. So we'll just do puzzles. How about that? It says it's for investigation, but we'll just do that. You can choose that on your own. But there you go. You have the smuggler set for the 2024 rules, but now it's in Foundry. You don't need to import anything. All that is set up. Really, backgrounds can be quite quick once you start getting into it. Something you probably even teach your players to do, give them DM access on your crafting world and say, hey, go for it, make whatever background you want. As you see here, I've made the investigator background from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and I've also made a custom background. Without going through it in detail, I'm just going to walk through what I did. I cut and paste the background parts in here just to give a second spot for the explanation. I went in details. I didn't change the identifier. It really has no impact on this, and I've just set this to 50 gold. Then I went to advancement, and if I look at the ability score, I left them all unlocked. The nice thing is it's only going to allow me to have 3 points, and it's going to cap everything to no more than 2 points. So the player couldn't add more than 2 points to one ability score, but would be able to add 3 points to 3 ability scores. Or 1 point to 3 different ability scores is how I should say that. Background proficiency, all I did is choose 2 skills, and then I chose 1 tool proficiency. So you put it down here in the choice box instead of by selecting it, and it would show up in the guaranteed box. Languages, didn't do anything different there. And then with feats, what I did is choose an origin feat. All I had to do to choose an origin feat is I just changed the title here. I chose allow drops, allow player to drop their own choices into this advancement. So giving them the option to make a choice. So the type of choice is a feature, a feat, and an origin feat. So let's show you how that looks. If I make a character quick, Bugsy the Tester, who already has a Tabaxi Investigator, we're going to remove the Investigator background. And then we're going to add a custom background. So if we click on add background, you'll see custom background from my brewery content coming over. So I'm going to click select. So I can choose 3 points maximum. So if I wanted to max out my dexterity, I cannot put all 3 points in dexterity. It's locked to just 2. So if I want to do 1 of each, like this, and then hit next, and then I can select 3 traits. So if I choose, I want to take acrobatics, and I want to take medicine, it won't let me take more skills because I've already used up my 2 skills. Now it says you can choose 1 tool to go along with that. So if I want to say thieves tools, I can do that. Hit next, and then I select my 2 languages. Hit next, and now here's where the feat goes. So to get to the origin feats, I'm going to click here. It's going to filter, but it's going to lock the filters. So I can't choose anything else to show up. It's only going to show me the feats. But it's not only going to show me just the feats, it's also going to show only the origin feats. So I can only choose one of these. And let's say this time I want to take the lucky feat. And I hit select. I can't take another one because I've already chosen it. I could delete this one and now go back and select again if I chose differently. And then I hit complete, and now everything is set up. It gives me my skills, and then it says here's your lucky feat for your background option. That's how you create a background. You can create a custom background, in which I discovered 918,000 varieties of background can be created. Or you can build the background as a DM the way you want, if you want to bring it from 2014 to 2024, or if you want to grab something from another source and bring it into Foundry. And that will be all for this video. And if you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. It lets me know if I'm making content that will help the Foundry community. The upcoming videos will be to go over how to make a custom subclass to the existing classes you've already made. Until then, may all your brews be tasty.